It's not until you start thinking on which game endings put a smile on your face that you realize just how many are geared towards sequels, or finishing in a way that doesn't retire the character for good. The flip side are the games I've chosen here, those that for the most part bookended their experiences by actually having the creative confidence to finish a character's story. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video games that gave iconic characters the endings they deserved. Number 8, Altair. Assassin's Creed Revelations. Once the main character of the original Assassin's Creed, it was an awesome idea to frame Altair's future exploits as the backdrop of Ezio's newer adventures. Come the point we'd finally get to control the eagle-hooded legend again in AC Revelations, it marked the end of both Altair and Ezio's respective storylines simultaneously. Now a very old and dying man, Altair is seen locking himself away with the one mystical piece of Eden left, knowing that eventually Ezio would come to find him. The two characters are hundreds of years apart, but the way the camera swoops around the slowly dying Altair as we then come back around on Ezio finding his now skeletal remains is brilliant. The fact our formerly humble servant of the assassins actually helped guide the order and become revered as a legend in between the games was a driving force to uncover everything he'd been up to. Uniting the characters we'd grown to love and anchoring them to a point in space and time was nothing short of incredible. Number 7, Max Payne. Max Payne 3. Max Payne's final moments play out in a way you didn't even realize they could, which is to say this blood-soaked rollercoaster of bullets and slow motion shows no signs of slowing down, watching Max waste scores of goons in quick succession, ending by tracking down and killing everyone in his way. Then, calm. Max disappears off to the gorgeous sun-kissed beaches of Bahia, Brazil, and the formerly intense footage of evildoer Victor Branco getting his leg snapped has turned into news footage. Max downs a beer and begins walking down the beach, finally finding some respite now that every last plot thread in his life is completely tied up. He looks to the horizon and the potential for more sequels if Remedy really want to go there, but also shows that the sun is setting for both the character and the franchise. Number 6, Dominic Santiago. Gears of War 3. Like the death of Aerith for 2000s bros, Dom's sacrifice in Gears 3 became the stuff of legend because you both did and didn't see it coming. In the nah, it'll never happen column was the fact this was Marcus Phoenix's best friend. Someone who'd always been the more emotional of the pair, but a character who after discovering his wife Maria was near death all along in Gears 2, felt like someone who channeled all that into an all-killing rage across the final installment. In the called it camp though was the fact Dom had nothing left to live for. Cut to the scene where he commandeers a giant fuel truck and the gang need one hell of an escape plan, and Santiago begins driving to his death, wanting to take out as many locusts as possible. John DiMaggio's Marcus yells for him to stop, but Dom thinks of Maria one last time as original trailer song Gary Jules' Mad World trickles in underneath, leaving one of Delta Squad's main members to go up in flames. Number 5, Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem Forever. Duke Nukem was a 90s joke made about 80s action heroes, somehow managing to last long enough to see the fabled Duke Nukem Forever finally get a release in 2011. Naturally, Duke was dead on arrival as the game was slaughtered by critics and fans alike, yet the characterization of the steel-balled one actually managed to end pretty spectacularly, or at least aptly. Not one to be out-wackied by Saints Row III, Duke finishes his game by blowing away a gargantuan alien menace, dying, declaring he's not dead in a voiceover as a black screen is all you see, and then running for president. Honestly, all told for a character with such specific appeal and zero chance of longevity, this was as good as it was going to get. Number 4, Joker. Batman Arkham City. To this day, I don't think Arkham Knight was planned to have Joker in. We had Rocksteady saying the character was definitely dead, the Arkham Knight being bigged up, Mark Hamill saying the role was finished, and this scene in Arkham City being arguably the best Joker death in all of Batman fiction. If we're talking about deaths of iconic characters and what they deserved, yes, Arkham Knight brought Joker back, but Arkham City's surprise finale totally fits the bill. For the scene itself, Rocksteady finished the Clown Prince off by having him trigger his own demise as part of an unintentional sick joke. With Joker already dying of a poisonous bloodstream, that same virus has infected Bruce, and he's found a cure. Cut to Batman entering the room where Joker should be, and the latter jumps on him, shattering the vial of serum in the process. Joker is dismayed, and Bruce states that after everything, I still would have saved you, to which Joker replies that is actually pretty funny, before chuckling himself to death. Absolutely perfect. Number 3, Solid Snake and Big Boss. Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Say what you want about how insanely over the top many of Metal Gear Solid's various story-related aspects are, but when creative mastermind Hideo Kojima wants to nail an emotional beat, he knocks it out the park. Case in point, the close of Metal Gear Solid 4. Main man Solid Snake has gone through hell, his entire body aging incredibly fast as a side effect of the cloning process. He makes it through to visit the grave of the boss, his former commander, Big Boss's mentor. The only twist is Big Boss isn't dead, and instead comes back out of a cryo-freezing process thing so the two of them can finally see each other again. Both men form the linchpin of the entire canon, and as they bond over chasing peace from broken ideologies or philosophical differences, in the end they share a cigar together. Big Boss looks up and in his weakened state asks, "This is good, isn't it?" before passing away, and Snake is finally left to live out his remaining days in isolation, before the aging process will also take him too. It's bittersweet, but more than conclusive for two of our medium's most fabled warriors. Number 2, Nathan Drake. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Uncharted 4 did a pretty incredible thing, making Nathan Drake infinitely more human. He was always a relatable and lovable action hero, but grounding him in a mundane 9-to-5 with a partner and real responsibilities, it reframed that original trilogy into something way more daring and genuinely risky. You realize Nate's rush to plunder all sorts of treasure was down to fulfilling a childhood wish from he and his brother Sam. And after the customary one last mission trope is played out, Nate and Elena finally settle down, but not in the way the game opens. Rather than be consigned to a life of mortgages and clock watching, they open an excavation business and have a daughter, Cassie Drake, who's just bursting to go on an adventure. We see that adult life can be just as spontaneous and characterful as that which came before, and as it's revealed neither Nate or Elena have told Cassie of their previous flights of fancy, they start telling all as the trio walk off into the sun. And number 1, Geralt of Rivia. The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. CD Projekt Red's gargantuan RPG achievement has the biggest list of to-dos this side of Skyrim. Say you've seen it all though, every last main quest, a plethora of side missions, beast hunting, Witcher contract, and the occasional collectible. How the hell do you retire a character that by definition exists within the world as a necessary force of good against endless evil? Well, you give him a retirement home, but not one he's necessarily beholden to. Yes, Geralt gains access to a vineyard in second DLC Blood and Wine, and it's one you can pour thousands of coins into to upgrade. Yet only at the end of the game do you get a surprise visit from whichever character you're closest to. For me, that meant life partner Yennefer suddenly moved in, ushering in a brilliantly calm conversation about the pros and cons of drinking wine and hanging out in the sun whilst dressed entirely in black. This entire set of scenes comes after you've wrapped the main quest too, ending with Geralt acknowledging that he will need to rest at some point before delivering a wry smile directly to the camera. We leave the 8th generation's most unsung hero happy, content with some property to call his own, a place you know he'll go back to when you let go of the controller. CDPR have confirmed more Witcher is coming, but that Geralt's story is done. A perfect example of a character living on once you've stopped playing. Let me know your favorites down in the comments below, and please subscribe to the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.